Hi again, it's Jason from Fraser Valley Rose Farm, and I want to talk to you today about cut flowers. Now this time of year, I've already put some dahlias back into the ground, and I've started some zinnias and snapdragons from seed, but then I look out in the garden and I see these guys. These perennial delphiniums, which sat in this same spot all winter in the ground, came back beautifully, in fact with many more stems than the previous year. That's what I love about using perennials as cut flowers. Now granted, we're not serious cut flower growers, so we're not after peak productivity, but it is a beautiful thing to come out and find perennials that come back year after year. You can use them in bouquets casually along with my roses and shrubs and just get a great display without putting in too much effort. So today I'm going to be going through a bunch of these perennials. As I do them, I'll put them up on the screen, things like the notes of their lowest hardiness zone, any handling requirements, and their average vase life, like this delphinium, which is, by the way, from the Magic Fountain series, comes in a wide range of colors and easy and comes back year after year reliably. Let's move right on to peonies, which you might consider the queen of the perennial cut flowers. Blooms in mid to late spring, but blooms in profusion. It is long-lived and hardy in the garden, cold hardy, and if you pick them at the right stage, they make long-lasting cut flowers. You could even store them in cold storage in the fridge or a cooler to bloom them out at later times if, again, you pick them at the right stage. So what they talk about is the marshmallow stage, and the marshmallow stage is you don't want it to be rock hard like this one here. This one is starting to soften up, and very shortly, within the next 2 to 3 days, this will be soft enough that we call it as soft as a marshmallow. That's why they call it the marshmallow stage, and then you can pick it, display it, or store it for later blooming. Achillea, or yarrow, is my next choice, and it's notable for a few things in the garden. First of all, there's that fine textured, ferny looking foliage. Second, I'll say, is that it is excellent at attracting and supporting beneficial insects in the garden. And third, that it is also drought tolerant once established. So it's got some good things going for it. As a cut flower, it depends on which variety you choose. So this one you see in the center here, it's nice to have a convenient example, is Achillea Desert Deep Rose, and it's really made as a landscape plant. That stem is too short, really, to be useful as a cut flower, but right next to it, the Summer Pastel version is showing you that it shows a much, much longer stem on that, both with those flat-topped flowers. Now, in comparison to the peony, which you want to get at an early stage, with the yarrow, it's important that you wait until all of the little florets on that flat disc are open. Otherwise, they will wilt out prematurely. So good choices for yarrow might be something like this Summer Pastel or Coronation Gold. Or if you want something a little bit more like baby's breath, you could look at the Achillea Marshmallow, Tarmica Marshmallow that you see on the left here, which gives those little white balls of flowers. Now let's get a look at this one. This is pincushion flower, or scabiosa, and it's known for its ornate flowers in white, light pink, or blue on these wiry stems, and it is a repeat bloomer. So if you deadhead, remove the spent blooms, you will get repeat all the way through the summer and into the fall. This one with the red flowers in the foreground is called masterwort, or astrantia. This cultivar is called Hadspin Blood, I believe, but it comes in shades of light pink more commonly. And this makes a good cut flower if you cut them early enough before the pollen drops. They have a vase life of something in the range of 5 to 7 days, and also they dry beautifully. In the background here, I'm going to point out, this is salvia, and this is the classic cut and come again kind of perennial, where if you keep on pruning it back after the flowers are spent, you'll keep on getting flushes throughout the season. So I can always count on one or another of my patches of salvia to be in display and ready for cut flowers, and super cold hardy as well. I think down to zone 3 or 4, something along those lines. Well, next I'd like to highlight the alliums, or the flowering onions, and of course some people might call them bulbs more than perennials, but because they naturalize and come back reliably year after year, I'd be happy to call them either one. In any case, they make a beautiful cut flower, either with the large globe ones like this, or even smaller chive-like alliums that have come out in recent years for cut flower varieties. Any which way, they come in purple, white typically. Sometimes some of the smaller varieties might be different colors, but make an excellent cut flower, surprisingly 7 to 10 days in the vase if you catch them in the bud stage. Let me feature this next variety, which doesn't look so impressive now, almost just a grassy clump in the garden, but soon it will have flower spikes, either in blue or white. This is Liatris, or gay feather, an American prairie plant that has been adopted since by the Dutch bulb industry for its tall spikes that are long-lasting in bouquets as long as you open them or cut them when they're half open, so about halfway up the stem. They open in succession, so you want to do it when they're open on the top but closed on the bottom of the stem for a long vase life, and a beautiful display vertical in bouquets. Next, let's talk about lilies, which are also sold as a bulb, but are typically long-lived and very hardy in the garden. They can come in tall varieties like this, or even short little pot varieties like this one here. Difference between Asiatic and Oriental lilies, if you're looking at that, is that the Oriental lilies typically are taller, larger flowering, and far more fragrant, while the Asiatics are shorter or more compact and have no fragrance. Either case, the notes here for cut flowers are that, one, you should probably remove the little pollen sacs, the anthers, off of the flowers as they bloom, because as those fall, it can stain, if you bring them indoors as a bouquet, stain either the other flowers or even other objects in the room. Second thing to know is that for you cat owners out there, that all parts of lilies are poisonous or toxic to cats, so they're maybe not your best choice for bringing indoors if you have indoor cats. Next up, let's look at a superb filler plant. This is Alchemilla mollis, or lady's mantle. Has these silvery gray leaves, chartreuse flowers. If you cut them and hydrate them well, they'll last well in a bouquet, and they will self-seed around the garden, so you'll have an abundance if you have any at all. This guy here is globe thistle. Globe thistle comes up with spikes of these blue flowers, actually reminiscent of the allium here. Smaller, bright blue, very spiky, very striking and long lasting in a bouquet with a thistle-y kind of a look to it. And a few steps to the left here, and we have a similar looking but completely unrelated plant called sea holly. Here it is, not yet in bloom, and it is also quite thistly looking, but the difference here is that that entire bract becomes attractively blue colored, quite a nice bouquet filler, and very striking in the garden. My next choice here is echinacea, small plant now, but in any case, the echinaceas don't show off until the fall when the days have been long and they're starting to shorten. That's when you'll usually see the echinaceas in bloom. Classically, the species echinaceas are purple in petal and kind of drooping petals and not that substantial, so not the best choice for cut flowers. They'll last a while, but the newer breeding can have more substantial and more petals overall. This one here is called green twister with a nice substantial petal, with a purple and green mix, but also there are some that are just very, very full in shades of yellow or red or white. Lots of cool echinaceas as cut flowers these days. Well, how about lavender? Can you use that in a bouquet? And the answer, of course, is yes. It makes an excellent cut flower. It's both decently long-lasting and it gives you good fragrance up close and personal. I would use the lavender varieties. They have a good fragrance and they're also known for their long stems. And a variety like this actually benefits from that early cutting for a cut flower. If you take it down to this level here, it helps you to refresh and rejuvenate the shrub for a second flowering later on in the season, or at least to get that fresh growth and branching so that it better survives winter conditions. So cutting on lavender, perfect. Let's finish up today with Filipendula. That's just coming into bud here right now. And this is a classic meadow plant, which is what I love about it. You really get that wild look in the large airy blooms, either in white or pink. Best to cut these when they're just coming out of the bud stage. That's when they look like little balls, so you get maximum vase life. They're not super long lasting, maybe in the range of 5 to 7 days, but super charming in a bouquet. All right, I want to finish up the video by thanking you for your time and also to ask you, have you used other perennials besides the ones I've listed in this video for your cut flowers? And if so, please share them down below in the comments. I'm sure other people will benefit from your experience.